How's it going, everybody? David Hedge here, House Hedge Gaming. The time you see this video, it is July 3rd, and it's my birthday today. Today I turned 43, and some days I feel every bit of 43. Others I feel like 23, and then there's some that I feel like 83. Definitely feel like Rice Krispie treats in the mornings. I snap, crackle, and pop. Through years of wrestling, and plus me being a big guy doesn't really help that. But today you're getting a special video. One is a brand new video on a brand new camera that we bought, and luckily it looks like it's going to be a good one, unlike the other one I tried. But today I wanted to give you a retrospective of how House Hedge Gaming became to be, what led up to the creation of the channel, and where the channel will be going in the future. A lot of things I'll be talking about today are things that I've talked about on HHG Live and in past videos, but there's also a lot that I'm saying for the first time on this. I do, full disclosure, I got notes I've written down, but a lot of this is just going to be off the cuff. So it might be a long video, it might not. If it is long and you stay through the entire video, thank you. If at some point I lose you, I understand that. Your time is precious, and if I go long-winded, yeah, definitely digest it in various parts if you want. But I want to do this video not just for me, but for everybody who supported the channel for the past 5 years. And I just wanted to give you a bit more of an in-depth look at everything behind the camera and who I am. Even though my life's been pretty much an open book on here since I've been doing this for going on 5 years, or over 5 years now. And I just wanted to take time to talk a little bit. So, my full name is David Ralph Hedge Jr. My father was David Ralph Hedge Sr., and my mother is Karen Hedge. And I am very fortunate to have been born to two of the most amazing parents that I could ever ask for. Now, even though both of them had their flaws, but one thing was for sure was that they were loving, they are supportive, they are caring, and I couldn't ask for two better parents. I'm very fortunate that my mom is still with us, and I still talk to my dad, even though he is no longer here, and it's hard to believe he's been gone for 3 years. But because of them, I was able to get into a lot of things because of their support and their love and the way I was raised in that household, which there's a bunch of stories I could tell at a different time. But my gaming, not career, but my gaming hobby started really young. As with most kids at my age, I had Nintendo, I had Atari, and I also played various tabletop games, which at the time were, for me, mainly Yahtzee, Dominoes, Scrabble, Monopoly, a lot of the classic games. And most of those I would play with my grandparents, Charles Bland and Kathleen Hedge. And for some reason, grandparents always won. You could never beat them. When you're a child, my grandmother would always roll Yahtzee every 2 or 3 rolls, and my grandfather would always know which domino to play, and he would always be 5 steps ahead. But my love of gaming came from them and came from my dad, because my dad, which I would have never thought this, he was a huge Nintendo fan. He loved Mario, he loved Pac-Man, he loved Duck Hunt, all the classic Nintendo games. And so that was my gateway into the world of gaming. And from there, I played chess, and in chess club and at chess tournaments, we would play various board games in between our matches. So we go from one board game to another board game. A lot of times it was Heroes Quest, and the Hero Quest just recently made its comeback, and I still need to pick it up so I can add it to the collection. But that was a game where we would set up in a room at the school / hotel / gym, wherever we were playing. We would always set up a Hero Quest game. And then Magic the Gathering came along, and it was a lot more portable. And so we would go to these towns, and we would start trying to find Magic the Gathering product. at Toys R Us or any of the stores, Hills, Kmart's, all that. Which it still breaks my heart a bit that a lot of the stores I went to go get like card games and all are no longer around. But from there, got into Magic for a long while, and I've still been playing Magic this very day. Also got into Pokemon and everything. And I've always been around gaming. Then in around 2000, 2001, I started helping out Star City Comics and Games. At first, I was just extra help. I was part-time. I was, at the time, working for store credit because I was a youngin', and I figured, you know what, I can work for my products. I can work for my cards and everything. And then I became part of that company, and that rang true for over 20 years. There was a year break in that because of issues that I had with a person that was there. And then when I came back, that person shortly left. And I do apologize for any background noise because they're doing yard work here. But then at Star City, I started getting more and more into other board games and other card games. I started exploring the vast array of gaming that there was available, especially at that time. The world of trading card games was very vast, and anything and everything was a trading card game at the time. And board games were starting to become more and more complex than your monopolies and your risks and everything. And so pretty much all my life, I've been around gaming. And I'd also been around pro wrestling. I was a fan of pro wrestling at a young age. And then in 2017, October, I decided that I want to use this new thing that I discovered called the internet. And I want to create a YouTube channel. And I wanted to do it with my wife, Cindy, who I met through wrestling. And she became a gamer because of me. And so we wanted to have a channel. And our first channel was Two Hedges Smash Gaming. Now, this was before Smash became a bad word, because we always went into two-headed giant games of Magic the Gathering, and we were going as a team of Two Hedges Smash, which is like Hulk Smash, but we're two hedges, and we wanted to crush the competition. And so we were going to events like that with that team name. So when we had the YouTube channel, we wanted to just go ahead and use that name plus gaming, and well, there you go. And we did about 40 videos on that channel, I do believe. And a lot of the reason why we did so few, because we ran that for 2 years. During that time, my dad was real sick at points, and so I would help out with my family, help them out through a lot of things. And then also, we had a lot of stuff going on as well. 2019, though, in October, that channel shut down. And the reason for that is one that'll always stick out in my mind. Because in 2019, I was working at Star City, but I was also going to a store called Blade Gaming, which had recently opened in downtown Roanoke. And it was two entirely different stores. At that time, Star City Games focused mainly on Magic the Gathering. No other thing was there. It was Magic or nothing else. Blade Gaming offered people a chance to get board games and other card games and everything, and give them a different space, a different feel of going into a store. And at Blade Gaming, it was you were going into a store and it was somebody's basement that you were going into, and you were hanging out with friends. While at the time, Star City Games had this sterile hospital vibe to it, with a gray floor with black and gray and blue chips and white walls. It was more sterile, and it was two exact opposites of what a gaming store should be. But I would go and play Magic the Gathering at Star City, as an employee would. But I would also go to Blade Gaming, and I would play in various events. I would also play in their Magic events, like pre-releases and all, but I would mainly go down there for board games. And at the time, in 2019, a new format for Magic the Gathering was starting up, and it was Pioneer. And both Star City and Blade were trying to promote that format. So one day on Facebook, on Two Hedges Smash Gaming, I posted on Facebook, just got done playing board games at Blade Gaming. Can't wait for Pioneer. I don't know what I'm playing yet. It'll be interesting to see what happens, or something to that effect. Somebody at Star City saw that and they went, "Hey, he's promoting the competition. We need to get him." And up to that point, nothing I did with Two Edges Smash Gaming had any effect with Star City. I would always give a shout out to Star City, to Blade, any of the gaming stores. But I had two higher ranking people at Star City pull me aside, and they told me that because of that post, I upsetted the president of the company, Pete Hofling Jr., and the vice president at the time, Krystal Van Heis, who both of them I have the utmost respect for, and I consider them friends. And when I was told that I upset them, a lot of things went through my mind. One, I hate upsetting people. I hate making people cry. I hate making people mad, sad, everything. And I much rather make people laugh and feel better than hurt them. And two, the thing that came through was, well, if they're not going to start monitoring what I'm doing, I got to be either really cautious, because if I say or do the wrong thing, I can get fired, and I couldn't risk losing my job. And so Cindy and I made the decision to just fold up Two Hedges Smash Gaming and be done with that channel. A couple months later, we lost Krystal Van Heis unexpectedly. And I never got a chance to talk to her after I was told that I upset her. So even though I know in my heart of hearts that she forgave and she knew that I didn't mean anything by what I did, my last thought will always be representatives of Star City Games telling me that I upset a person that I considered a friend that I had the utmost respect for. And that'll be my last thought of her. And it sucks. Because like I said, she was one of the most caring people, but she had a real passion for life and travel, but she also was very passionate of defending her friends and making Star City Games a special place to work. I was so proud to call Star City Games my not just my gaming home, but my workplace, because I had amazing people I worked with each and every day, and she made it so much better. She made sure that we knew that we were more than just a number. We were family. And the fact that my last memory of her is going to be me hurting her from something I posted sucks. But at that time, also, Star City Games changed a lot, and we became more numbers than family. Nothing was more evident of that than when they announced that they were going to do a Employee of the Month as a memorial to Krystal, to where you got to park in her parking spot. She had a designated parking spot, even though there was no designated parking spot at Star City. And you would either get a gift card, you would get a donation in your name to a charity that she supported, which was an animal charity, which she loved animals of all types, especially cats. My wife and I had to watch her cat Blizzy so many times. That little butterball never liked shots, so we had to give her shots every so often when Krystal would go on trips. And so when she passed, Pete was handling a lot of her estate, and I got chosen for Employee of the Month. And this is when I knew a lot of things changed at Star City. Was when I went into the office and Pete went, "Hey, congratulations, being one of the first employees of the month. You can either get the $25 gift card, a soul ring, which was a promo for the Grand Prix, a donation in your name to a charity that Krystal supported, or something from her collection." And he said so passingly, like so passive and all. And a lot of people don't know that him and Krystal were married, and unfortunately, they realized that they were better friends than partners, and they remained great friends even after they divorced. But he just became so detached from everything, and he was no longer the person that I knew as a great friend. And so I knew a lot of things changed. And then COVID hit. and then everything was starting to be really, really down, really dark because of everything that was going on. We had to isolate, we had to stay away from family and friends and everything, to the point where in the beginning of 2021, my grandmother was celebrating her birthday, and we all did an exceptional job to just stay away and be protective and to make sure nobody got sick with COVID. But one family member from Myrtle Beach, who I will never name because still to this day I hate that she did what she did, she came up from Myrtle Beach, which was at the time a hot spot for COVID, came up to Roanoke, and my entire family got sick. And I was the only one that didn't get affected by it because I stayed away. I did video chats and everything, but I stayed away from family during COVID to make sure they were safe. And unfortunately, lost my grandmother because of that. And I just had to sit idly by and watch and listen as everybody was getting sick. At the same time as well, during COVID, Star City Games was open. We had to work. And a lot of people, a lot of businesses shut down during COVID, especially the early months, except for non-essential, except for essential employees like first responders, police. You had people that worked in for grocery stores and stuff like that who were getting bonuses and everything as a thank you for working through an unprecedented time. But you also had unemployment, people on unemployment that were getting paid more because they were just able to stay at home, and they got paid more for it because they were making sure they kept themselves safe but also others safe. And then there was Star City, where we took cautions to help mitigate the spread of COVID, even though it doesn't help. But we never got a thank you. We never got the, hey, we know this is unprecedented times. We appreciate all you're doing. And we never got anything from it except for a little starter COVID pack of 5 masks, a pop socket, a screen cleaner, and a bag, all Star City branded, because during a pandemic, the number one thing is to make sure you have branding on your COVID supplies. And I still hate that that happened. But we never got any type of a thank you for working through and pushing through an unprecedented time. And at that point, I was really not in the best of places for Star City. I didn't like it at all. And at the time as well, I couldn't wrestle. I couldn't go and really do anything with friends. I couldn't travel. And it was just going to be a dark time. But then we started lifting COVID restrictions and all. And we started being able to get out more. And then Cindy looked at me and she was like, why don't you start a YouTube channel again? And I was like, well, do you think it's enough time that's passed? And she went, I think so. Why don't you do it? Just make sure you don't say anything that could upset Star City, especially now with what's going on. And I was like, all right. So on July 23rd, 2021, House Hedge Gaming officially became a channel. And the first video we did was a D&D unboxing. It was an unboxing for Magic the Gathering's newest set, Adventures in Forgotten Realms of D&D set, which was one of the first times we really had in a main set Magic the Gathering having another property in. We had stuff like Secret Lairs come in, but we never really had another part of the Hasbro world or Wizards world into Magic the Gathering until then. And a lot of people were upset because they did not want D&D in their Magic the Gathering. And boy, I guarantee they're upset now after everything's been going on the past few years with MTG. But from that video on, I started doing videos again because it gave me a chance to be more creative and to have a chance to be able to talk gaming and wrestling and be able to be me and be able to talk to people. At that point, we started doing small groups at the house, people that we trusted, people who were always around from Star City at the time. And then we just started to figure out what we want to do with the channel. And that's when I was very fortunate to not only have Cindy supporting me, which was the biggest thing, because if it wasn't for her pushing me to do the channel, I wouldn't be here now 5 years later. But we had friends at Star City and in Roanoke that really helped out because they made sure to help maintain my love of gaming through being able to teach them new games and to be able to play on a regular basis. And I want to talk about them now. That's Lynn, Clara, Sorrell, and Wesley, Joey Harris. And there's one person that's I wanted to get on the channel, but I never could. But she always was a part of the gaming. Was Starleena Moore. Them along with Cindy and I, we were able to play a lot of great games, have a lot of fun, and got to do some reviews on games and got their help for being able to figure out what I wanted to say about those games. And I was doing all this, and at the same time, I was telling my mom, my dad, what I was doing and everything, and it still baffled them. They're like, "How in the world are you doing all this? You're working at Star City, and then at one point I was working at Star City in Berglund, but I was still doing videos, and I was still trying to be as productive as I could be." And they're like, "How in the world are you doing it?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't really know. I'm just doing my best and doing what I want to do and just trying to keep busy." And it was one thing that my dad and my mom was always proud of, is just I would always try and follow my dreams. Because there's a lot of times in life where people put me down. Like earlier on, I wanted to do commentary for Magic the Gathering, and this was early on when Star City Games was doing events. And I wanted to get into it, and I asked Evan Irwin, who was a prominent content creator at the time. I wanted to get some tips. I was like, "Hey, what tips would you give somebody to go into like Magic the Gathering commentary?" And he told me, I was like, "Cool, now can I get some tips into getting into content creating?" Because he was really good at it, and he was like, "Don't try it. You're going to fail. Just don't try it." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. Just stifle that. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it." And I had a lot of people tell me that throughout my life, between anything between that, getting into wrestling. I had one person on a faithful trip back from Gen Con. It was a girl that I was talking to, and me and her went to Gen Con. Things happened, and at the end of the event, on the way back home, she ran me over. She threw me on the bus. She put me down to where a point was like basically saying I was nothing, that I could be nothing. I was a overweight piece of garbage that would never amount to anything, would never be able to accomplish anything. I was like, all right. And there's between them, there was two things I could have done. I could have either just went, you know what, they're right. I'm just going to sit home. I'm just going to just rot. Or I can get up and do something. And that's what I did. I got into pro wrestling after that. And I met Cindy through that. And it's the best decision I ever did. Now she is the best thing I ever got out of wrestling. I held several championships. I wrestled against legends. I went into some of the most amazing matches I will ever have. But the most amazing thing from wrestling, I get to wake up to every morning. And she is my friend, my partner, my accomplice in crime, my gaming associate, like whatever you want to say. She's everything and more to me. And we just celebrated our 16th year wedding anniversary, and I still am very thankful that I've had her in my life for 16 years, and here's to 116 more. Um, but I wanted to do this, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I told you it might be long. But I had a lot of support to be able to do this, and we started getting traction, and we started to get a lot of notoriety from. We started getting gaming companies to notice us a little bit, even though we were a small channel. We're still a small channel. But all the while is because of support from family and friends that it kept going. And we started doing the Gen Con coverage at first, along with like videos and everything. And it's hard to believe we've done over 300 videos in 5 years. It still surprises me that we've done that, and we'll continue to keep doing more videos. But we got a chance to work with some amazing gaming companies, and I'll go into them in a little bit. But throughout that time, we have played some great games. We have reviewed games. We've talked wrestling. We've gone to more places than just Gen Con. But through it all is because of support from family and friends and all of you. And one of the biggest things that meant so much to me was when I had to make the hard video that my dad passed away after fighting cancer. And having a lot of you on that video just reach out and go, hey, we're with you. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. If you need anything, let us know. That meant more to me than anything, because a lot of you I'll probably never meet in person. I would love to meet everybody, but you reached out during a time where I got hit hard, and you helped me through it. And I'm very thankful for that. I have an amazing wife to help me through it, a wonderful support group of friends and family, but all of you reached out, and I can't thank y'all enough for that. And I've said that in other videos, and I'll probably say more. But it really meant the world to me. And to be doing this now for 5 years, I can honestly say that it still blows my mind the support I get, the support we get, and the people we reach out to, and the people we get to meet, and the people we talk to. And I can't thank y'all enough. And like I said, we worked with a lot of gaming companies for the past 5 years. And I wanted to talk about them real quick. And then I want to get into the move up here a little bit more, and then where the future goes. So for House Hedge Gaming, we have worked with close to 20 companies in 5 years, which still blows my mind. One company we worked with for a number of years is Buddy Pal Games. They saw me, Keith saw me at Gen Con one year, and he was like, hey, I've seen your videos. I would like to work with you. And from that point, we got a chance to review Power Advance, Amazing Jungle Run, Catch 33, Word Rally, and Category Craze. All great games from Buddy Pal. But then from there, we got a chance to work with a lot of different gaming companies. Lowen Games for Deliverance, Never Rift, the card game, which was really cool. They sent promo cards, which I still have and I'll never get rid of because they look amazing. And getting promos like that was pretty cool. We got to review Reason for the Season. We got to review various titles from Incredible Dream Studio with Ken Pardel's series and with the Gentle Rain. Fearing Games, we got a chance to do some stuff with them, and they actually gave us some things to give away at Gen Con last year. Soul Masters Trading Card Game, Rising Empire Studios for Alpha Clash TCG, Kessler Entertainment with the Cast List, Doomlings, Wiggles 3D with One Hit Heroes, Universal Legends, the Trading Card Game, Nostalgics TCG, Elegant TCG, Clash of Corgis, Gates of Crystalia. All these gaming companies and various games, and Roxley Games. I can't forget Roxley Games because we did the media event last year. All these companies we've been able to either reach out to them or they reached out to us. We got to work with them on various levels and everything. And it still blows my mind. We got a chance to work with some amazing people and meet some fantastic individuals in the world of gaming. And it's been a blast to be able to teach a lot of these games to family and friends and be able to do videos on them and everything. But now we get into the move up here to Terre Haute. So after my dad passed away, a lot of my family dispersed from Roanoke. My mom now lives with my sister and her husband in Tennessee. My little sister and her family lives in right around Lynchburg, not around Lynchburg, but well, close to Lynchburg, around Botetourt. And a lot of my family just dispersed. Cindy's family also the same for various reasons. And the place we were living at got sold. And the new landlord said, hey, I'm going to use this for my assisted living facility. Y'all need to go. But I'm going to work with you to make this the best possible. And Roanoke, Virginia was becoming more and more expensive to live at. And so I looked at Cindy and I was like, you know what? We have a great friend and chosen family in Hannie in Terre Haute. And Cindy and her are thick as thieves. There's such a thing as having like a soul connection with people, and those two are definitely sisters. And with us in Roanoke and Hannie and Terre Haute, there was a piece of Cindy that was missing. And I looked at her and I was like, do you want to move to Terre Haute? And she was like, don't you be lying. Don't you be fibbing with me. I'm like, no, I'm not playing. Do you want to move? Now's a good time. Because at the time, she was working at Berglund and at Center and Square as the box office, but she wanted to do more. For me, I was losing my mind at Star City. It was driving me nuts for various reasons. Everything from how the place became just numbers instead of a family. There was a recent, at the time, podcast from Cedric Phillips, who used to work with Star City Games, who was there as a commentator and a content creator, and he made six figures. And here I was working there for, at that time of that podcast, close to 19 years, and I was nowhere near what they were making. And I got something, I was not happy. And so we thought about it and did research, and it's like, you know what, it's time. And we made that decision. But for Cindy, she was leaving behind people at the box offices that she loved working with, and she was leaving behind some friends. And she still keeps in touch with them best she can. With me, I knew what I was giving up. I was giving up a big portion of my gaming part of my life because our gaming group was in Roanoke. Gaming stores that I frequented were in Roanoke. And I was also giving up being able to hang out with friends. I was giving up Berglund, which I love that job. I loved working at Berglund. There was one point I was working at Berglund. I was standing in the middle of the courtyard, and it was in the Coliseum. There was Roy R. Dog's hockey practice. In the SEC behind me, when I was standing in front of the fountain, there were dinosaurs being made for Jurassic Quest. And then in the Performance Arts Theater, there was practice for Romeo and Juliet. And there was a sword fight going on. I'm looking, I'm like, I love this job. And I love the people I worked with there. And I was giving that up. And I was giving up pro wrestling because I knew if I moved up to Terre Haute, there was a pretty good chance I wouldn't be able to get into wrestling. And I always told Cindy that I would give her the world. But the one thing I never told her was I would give up most of my world so she can have hers. And I gave up a good portion of my world so she can have hers. And I would do it again in a heartbeat, every time. Because since we'd made the move, she has smiled more. There are days that are rough, which is going to happen to everybody. But she has smiled more. She has flourished more. She is going out and exploring more of what she wants to be. And I can't be happier for her, because she's going and she's finding out more of who she wants to be than she ever could in Roanoke. For me up here, when I moved up here, I started in Cellular Sales, which was a third-party company for Verizon. And Cellular Sales is a company, I can tell you this right now, wholeheartedly, not the best place to ever start working, because a 100% commission job, which I knew the risk doing that, but they give you all the good that can happen with that job, but they never give you all the bad. And I found out a lot of the bad. But one good thing came from it, and that was getting to know Owen Nevins, who you've seen on the channel, and you'll see a lot more of in the future. I worked with Owen at Cellular Sales, and we started finding a connection through gaming. He's a huge, humongous Warhammer fanatic. If you want anything to do with Warhammer, wanting to know the lore, wanting to know anything about that, he's the person to talk to, hands down. But we started talking about Magic, because Warhammer and Magic the Gathering had the Commander crossover and everything. So we started talking about that, and we started talking about a whole lot more. And before you know it, I found a good friend up here in Owen Nevins. And I'm very thankful for that. We started inviting him over to have game nights and everything. It was mainly Commander at first, but now he's starting to branch more and more into card games and board games. That's not Warhammer. And he's enjoying every bit of it. And it's great to show somebody these amazing games that we have in our collection. And at the same time, we also got introduced through him to Krystal and Chloe. Both of them we've had on the channel before. Did some Commander games with them. They were part of our Dicethrone tournament. And everything was starting to click. Like, it was late last year in October, but everything was starting to click. We started doing stuff. We went to the Scream Park. We experienced that for the first time. Cindy's going this year and everything. We're going to go check that out, because she's never been to a haunted attraction. So, but we started doing that. We started experiencing other things, like the medieval, a medieval fair. We got a chance to go to that. And being able to just start doing more and more with people here on the channel, and to start branching out more. And we had all these big ideas, and then we had to stop it for a while for various reasons. And during all that time, I tried finding a gaming home, but I can't find one up here. There is Low Key Comics, which is a great place to go for Pokemon, for comic books, Funko Pop figures, stuff like that. They have a good selection of Magic singles. They have a good selection of, like I said, Pokemon and other games. But there's no room to play, so there's no gaming space there. There's Gone Lucid Games up here in Clinton, which is a little bit north of here. A very nice store just recently opened up. Amazing staff, just like Low Key Comics. Very welcoming. They have gaming space, but a lot of things I would like to get into, they do on the weekends. So I work on the weekends because of my job at a casino. And then there's Full Moon Games, which is the equivalent to Star City up here in Terre Haute. However, even though they got gaming space, they have a great location, they have a great store, a lot of their stuff's overpriced. Their staff is hot and cold. I have encountered both things, like, what can I do for you? Yeah, what do you want? Or I've also encountered, hey, welcome to Full Moon. What can I do for you today? But the gaming community up here at Full Moon has not been the most welcoming one to an outsider. I tried playing in a store championship event at one point. I built a 5-color deck, and this was right around Final Fantasy when it came out. I built a 5-color dragon deck, and it was just for fun. I wanted to see what I can do. I haven't played in the tournament in a while, and I went and I signed up, and this one person came up to me and went, "Are you David?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? What are you playing today?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm playing 5-color dragons, just something fun." And they're like, "Oh, I'm playing Mono Red Bird. I'm going to beat you, no problem. You shouldn't play." I'm like, oh, okay, word, gotcha. All right, received. And then the first round I played against a gentleman. He was playing a homebrew as well. His homebrew was a little bit better than my homebrew that day. Went 2-1. And I went outside to get a little bit of a breather and all. And he stepped outside, and somebody came up to him and went, "Oh, how'd your first round go?" And he went. I have to censor myself. He went, "Oh, I beat his FA." I'm like, "Oh, I'm out." If that's the kind of attitude you're going to have, like, I know it's a competitive attitude. I've been in tournaments many a time, but I always go with the number one thing I want to do is to have fun. But I will give it my best to see what I can do with the cards I had available to me and my playability. And it sucked that that was a main experience for me in that tournament area. And I'm like, you know what? This isn't for me. If this is how everybody wants to act, that's on them. I'm done. And then most recently, I tried going back to Full Moon to play some Commander. But the times I've went up there, I have been stonewalled. There'd be a group of 3, and I'm like, hey, can I jump in and be the 4th? They're like, oh, no, we're good with 3. We're going to go 3. Or I go to another group, same thing, and they're just now getting ready to play. I was like, hey, do you mind a 4th? No, we're good with 3. But then the 4th person comes over. I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks. So unless if I want to travel for over an hour out once a week to game, which I'm thinking about doing, to go to Indianapolis and play in the various gaming stores there, which are all welcoming, I don't have a permanent gaming home. And when we stopped doing all this stuff for HHG and all, when we had to disperse for a while, that's when, in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, that's it. And I honestly thought about shutting her down. Because I was like, you know what? Cindy's been real busy with a lot of her stuff. The casino is very busy up here. Like, I love the job. Don't get me wrong. The hours and the mental toll that job can take on you, not just because you're counting the 21 as a blackjack dealer, not just because you're learning all the gaming rules for all these various other card games that you're playing. And right now I'm in the middle of a roulette class to learn that game, but also you have all various walks of life coming through and all various moods. You had people who's happy, people who's elated because they won, people who are celebrating and they're there because they want to celebrate with family and friends. But you also have people there who think they're going to come to a casino and get filthy rich, but instead they lose money they honestly probably couldn't afford to lose, and they get mad because the dealer, they can't blame the cards, so it has to be the dealer that takes the full blunt of it. And you get all those emotions, and I'm just trying to stand there with a smile on my face. And at times it can be really hard to have that mask of a smile when you have somebody cursing you out, you have somebody cursing your name because you took all their money, or somebody's having a really bad day and they decide, you know what, number one target, this guy. It's me. And I've had that happen plenty of times at various other places, but I'm used to it, but at the same time, it can be wearing on you. And plus, I sleep a lot during the weekends. I don't get a chance to really do much because I'm sleeping and I'm working. And all this was combining at the end of last year, or beginning of this year. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm done. Because it felt like a big part of me was really going, because I couldn't do wrestling anymore because of my schedule. There's no way that I can go, and I haven't announced that in the previous video, that David House is no longer is in the rear view for me. David House officially retired from wrestling. But then I thought my gaming part of me was just done, and I was honestly just thinking about folding it up and just going work, home, play video games, do stuff with Cindy, and just that'd be my routine. And I told Cindy this, and she went, don't you freaking dare. Don't stop being you. Fight. Do what you can with what you have and be the best person you can be. And I'll always be thankful to have Cindy in my corner, because she has definitely been there and given me support various ways through various situations, and I'm so fortunate to have that. So we're here now. I'm looking at the time. I keep looking now. It's almost 40 minutes. It's over 40 minutes. And I'll try to make this part short. But I wanted to say a lot of this stuff today. I appreciate you hanging in there this far. But where we're going now. House Hedge Gaming is sticking around for a long time. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. I'm not planning on it. Gen Con this year is going to be a very different experience from what we've done on the channel before. Because it's just me. Cindy will be with me on Sunday, and I'm glad she's going to be with me. I get a chance to be able to hang out with her for one day. But for a majority of the time, it's just going to be me. But I will be doing some meetups. I will be doing as much hanging out as I can, gaming as much as I can. And I'll have a full schedule coming up soon. And anybody who's going to Gen Con, if you see me, say hi. I would love to meet as many people as I can this year. I got my Merry and Pippin deck that I've been getting signed for the past 2 years. This year, I want to fill that sucker up. I want to get everything signed in there so that deck will no longer be touched. It will be the way it is from now until the end of time. But after that, the channel will change a little bit, and we'll have an actual schedule of releases every Friday, and each one will have a different theme. First Friday of the month will be completely random. Second Friday of the month will be TCG Tussle with Owen Nevins. And Cindy on occasion, but it'll be TCGs on the second Friday. Third Friday will be Date Night Demolition. Cindy and I playing games that are great for 2-player, but can also be for multiple players as well. But we're going to be doing that, and you'll see how many times I lose to Cindy. And then the last Friday of the month was originally going to be title defenses for the HHG Championship through the Dicethrone tournament, which currently Hannie is the champion, but that's going to be put on hiatus right now because of her schedule. Once everything's figured out, we'll be able to do something with that later. But I'm also going to be doing the card graveyard, and I have other things I'm working on. And I'm going to keep going forward. And it's one thing that we can all do. No matter what, whether it be a content creator, whether it be doing your best at your job, trying to chase a dream, trying to finish a project, anything like that. There's always going to be roadblocks. There's always going to be people that tell you can't do it. There's always going to be situations where you might not be able to finish that project. You might not be able to do anything at a point, and then you go, you know what? There's 2 roads I can take. I can either just go, you know what? It was good while it lasted, but I'm done. Or keep fighting. You push forward. And you see what you can do, and you can see that you can prove yourself. Hey, I had this bump, but I'm going to keep going. I want to see how far I can go. That's what we're doing. This channel is going to continue on. We're going to keep having fun. We're going to keep playing games. I'm going to keep losing. And I'm going to try to reach out to companies when I can. But as of late, even though I list off a lot of companies I've worked with, I'll be doing some networking at Gen Con, see what else we can get into. But there are companies now that I reach out to. If they say no, awesome. You gave me a shot. You looked. You went, you know what? We're good for now, but we'll keep you in mind. That's all I ask. I will never ask for anything but a shot. But we've had companies, too, to where they'll come up to us, and after I message them, they're like, yes, we would love to work with you. We'll send you some stuff out, no problem. And then nothing. Get ghosted. Or get called, no, we'll send stuff out, no problem. And then nothing. I'd much rather be told no than strung along. But again, I could stop and go, you know what? I'm just going to let it be. Or I can keep reaching out to companies and see what happens. Because the worst they can say is no. The worst feeling is that they string you along. But no matter what, I'm going to keep going. I enjoy doing the content. I enjoy HHG Live. I enjoy doing everything that I've been doing recently, and then some. And I've been enjoying this channel for 5 years now. And we have a lot more videos to shoot. We have a lot more road trips we're taking. We've been to Gen Con, we've been to Big Lake Comic Con, we've been to Woods of Terror, Scream Park, we've been to a Paranormal Cirque, we've been to Collector Palooza. There's plenty more events to go to up here around Terre Haute, in Chicago, in St. Louis, in Indianapolis, in Columbus. You'll never know where we're going to go unless you join. Make sure to keep an eye out for us. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Let your friends know. House Hedge Gaming is going to be here for a long time. I'll be here talking about gaming. I'll be here talking about wrestling. And a lot of other things that just happen to pop in this old mind of mine. But that's it. That's the road so far. And those videos went long. For those of you who watched the video at the very end, thank you so much. It means the world to me that you took time to do it. As I've said in previous videos, and I will continue to say for a long time, is that in this world of ours, time is a precious commodity more than anything else. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. So you choosing to spend time to watch this video means a lot. I thank you for that. And I can't wait to see what the next 5 years looks like here at HHG. And thank you all for everything. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, my friends, stay safe and take care.